might want to watch and share this in regards to a recall that recently occurred on Minute Maid products such as Coca-Cola, some orange juices, some Sprites, things like that, you know. And of course, I'm sure some of you will say, well, I don't drink that stuff, so it doesn't matter, but you probably know someone who does. And even more importantly, it's important to share if you're trying to wake people up, things like this, because people should go, why in the world is that happening? So you might ask, what was the recall for? Recall, right? Anyway, tongue twister. The recall was because they were finding metals inside of the soda. And of course, they were talking about unseen metals. They were talking about and saying some of them had washers in it, pieces of metal that could be detected by the human eye. And, well, it's not every day that they'll actually do the recall when people find this, but if enough people find it, of course they'll do the recall. And what people should be saying is, how in the world does that get inside of a soda can? In the first place, how did metal get inside a soda? How does it get approved by the FDA in the first place to be on our shelves? And why does it take consumers finding this to actually get a recall when enough people bang on enough doors and get really, really angry? Kind of like the stuff I used to report on in regards to the weed killer that was being found in cereals like Cheerios. That's right, weed killer. And they were putting them on shelves, letting people consume it. Now, one of the funny things about this recall with the metals is that people like me have been talking about the metals for quite a while. We know that the metals, they drop from the sky, the aluminum that they drop, the aluminum barium, that they drop from the sky on us. Obviously, soft metals are the things that cause, such things as cancer and everything else that causes problems in the human body because it's not natural to have metals in it. And a lot of us have been talking about recently with this thing called the graph, how it's been popping up in foods. People have been doing tests with magnets on their food. And of course, what ends up happening, horrible websites like Snoops and now all these websites a lot of these websites like to pretend that they're debunkers, right? Like these idiots on YouTube who pretend to be debunkers. They're like, I'm here to be a debunker. They're the dumbest people on the planet. They have no clue about anything. They have no content of their own. They just pretend that they're debunkers. They are the dumbest people alive. And they come out and they go, look, we've debunked it. There's no metals in the food. There's no metals in it. Oh, but then stories like this come out where it's proven and they're admitting to putting metals inside of the food and contaminating the food with metals because they want that inside your body, but nobody says boo. Now, before I get into the Coke recall, I'm going to show you something because I found a YouTuber, because these are the things that I do. I try to find stuff like this where people are doing experiments to show you a channel called Spiritually Awake. I'm not sure if they're sub to this channel, but I happened to come across it and doing some research on the old grapho-oxido, which we all know they love to get inside people. And he did an experiment with Pellegrino, and well, take a look at what he found. Very interesting stuff. You might want to watch this and share it.
Wir testen das mit einem so TDS-Gerät, wo wir die Leitfähigkeit überprüfen können. Je tiefer der Wert, desto besser. Optimal wäre zwischen 0 und 90 Mikrosiemens. Wir schalten das Gerät ein. Jetzt haben wir Parts per Million. Wir messen aber in Mikrosiemens und drücken den mittleren Knopf. Das ist die Bezeichnung für Mikrosiemens. Das Rezensor hat einen Wert von 1508. San Pellegrino hat einen Wert von 750. Und jetzt tun wir das Ganze mit der Elektrolyse. Das ist ein Elektrolysegerät. Tun wir das Ganze sichtbar machen, was wir für Teile im Wasser drin haben. Das sind elektronische Frequenzen. Da ist richtiger Strom drauf. Und so können wir die Stoffe im Nanobereich, die wir nicht sichtbar haben, so sichtbar machen. Okay. Ich hoffe, man sieht das. Wir lassen das jetzt kurz absacken und dann gehen wir mit einem Supermagnet schauen, ob wir hier magnetische Elemente finden. Ich lasse das Video als Beweis weiterlaufen. Da tut sich nichts. Passiert nichts. Schauen wir mal hier beim San Pellegrino. Oh, was tut sich denn da Schönes? Ui, 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 ui. Das sieht aber nicht gut aus. Da. Hä? Das ist aber nicht nett. Das ist aber gar nicht nett. Ich hoffe, man sieht das. So sieht das aus.
Whoa, Dad, look at that.
If you love being around the underwater...
Wem gehört denn San Pellegrino wem?
Boy, that black material that was moving with the magnet, it's almost like some other stuff that I've shown on this channel that we've seen, right? Right? And then, of course, that's stuff that's so small and nano that you can't actually see it with the visible eye, but it's inside certain stuff. But I can't go into further detail, of course, because, you know, they don't want the truth out there about these types of things. But Coca-Cola issued the recall on 3 Minute Maid products. The products affected by the recall were distributed in 8 states, including Pennsylvania. The recall applies to Minute Maid Berry Punch, Strawberry Lemonade, Fruit Punch in 59-ounce cartons. Distributors might have sold more than 7,000 cases of these drinks across those states. According to the report, the recall began in November, but the expiration of the products extends into 2022, meaning people have time to, people still have these items inside their home. This is the second recall currently issued by Coke. Certain Coca-Cola and Sprite 12-ounce cans are subject to the recall as well, due to the presence of soft metals, or metals, excuse me. We'll call them soft metals because we know exactly what's inside these cans, like you just saw in the Pellegrino. And I don't know if you remember, but you know, a video that got taken off my channel, they were experimenting with I don't know, some type of oxide that starts with a G. They're experimenting with it on food at Rice University and other universities, you know, because we really need this inside of us.
Or we can do it even on foods, like this is a potato. So remember what graphene is. It's these single atomic thick sheets of graphite, and now we take these and we put a few of them on top of each other as we convert the material itself, a piece of bread, and so you can convert the carbohydrates that are within bread to graphene. Or we can do it on a coconut, so you can take a coconut and convert that into graphene. Now, why would we want to have something like this? This is all conductive, and so it can conduct electricity. So what we can do now is we can make electronics embedded within fabrics and make electronics embedded within wood.
So right now we're going to be lasing a cardboard box here, and the significance of being able to put electronic traces on cardboard boxes is that it has a lot of potential commercial significance in being able to write RFID tags directly on boxes, so you can either tell where it's been, or you can put a sensor on the box and see what kind of conditions it's been exposed to. Currently, people are using RFID tags that have been manufactured and they attach them to the boxes, but being able to directly convert a box would be really valuable.
Why would one want edible electronics? Well, first of all, let me start with, very often we don't see the advantage of something early on, but when we make it available, people start seeing the real advantage. So can you even have electronics embedded on food and then say use this as a heat circuit to heat the food more easily? If there's, say, an RFID tag written onto this potato, where has it been, how long has it been stored, what's its country of origin and its city of origin, and what path did it go to get to your table? All that can be embedded not on a separate tag that's placed on the food, but directly on the food itself. And these can also have sensors that would detect E. coli, sensors that would detect microorganisms that you might not want, that could immediately light up and give you a signal that you don't want to eat this. So being able to barcode food, in a sense, could have real advantages.
Wasn't that awesome? Really cool. Of course, like I showed you the last time, the same clip, we see the owl there. No, nothing to be suspicious of. The Bahamian owl, because the owl, the knowledge of the owl, right? And so Justin Bieber has. Oh, right, Justin Bieber and Drake have it because they were born in some month. And right. Anyway, the cult, of course, worships the owl. That's the owl Bohemian Grove we see all the time, and it's used throughout Freemasonry and other secret societies. But anyway. These are necessary things, right? Getting metals and food, soft metals, graph and food. I mean, the fact that they even are doing the recall and nobody's in an uproar about it shows you how dumb society is. People are probably just like, well, the can's made of aluminum, so it probably is metal. They are forcing this into the bodies of many. They've been doing it for quite some time, but now they're doing it more so than ever. And there's many ways that they can get soft metals inside you. Obviously willingly for people who are drinking these sodas, but also willingly for other people who are letting it go right into their veins. So, excuse me. Didn't want to misspeak there. Sorry, algorithm. Anyway, folks, thought I'd make you aware of it. This is going to continue on. Be careful what you consume, obviously. This is going on with more products than just this. This is just something that they admit to, and they test the waters and see if there's any pushback. And there's not, just like with the weed killer. Nobody cares. Nothing gets done. The same people buy the same products. They return their Coke that they think might be infected. Then they buy another round of Coke that's expired in 2023 because they're told, well, this round of Coke is safe. Don't worry, we've tested it. And they go, okay, I'll get my new Coca-Cola and I'll consume the soft metal. And then when I get really, really sick in a couple years, I will never connect the dots. I will just blame it on God, or I'll blame it on something else, like the people who don't take the magic potion, because that's how this insane world works. Soft metals, folks. Everywhere, constantly, on us, around us, covering us in it. And that is why, one of the main reasons, why so many diseases are running rampant. But they get away with these types of things. The FDA, no one's held responsible. It's just like, like who let it go through let it happen? Nobody goes, oh, this person did, oh, that person's fired, or the FDA should be investigated. Nope, nothing. Just like Amazon with the Alexa allowing it to tell a kid to do something harmful to himself. Oops, sorry, our bad, right? But if a human did that, a human would be in jail for the rest of their lives. Or if a human deliberately put metal inside of these things, a human would be in jail for the rest of their lives. Instead, the machines are just pretty much putting it in there because that's pretty much what's in the mix, the Coke mix, when they're putting it into the cans, and pretty much everything else that they're getting through the FDA and getting into our grocery store. So be aware of these things, share with people. I'm sure most people don't care. They don't care at this point about much of anything unless the TV tells them to care. They believe everything the television tells them. They believe that there's a race war. They believe all this stuff's going on because the television says so. So if the TV doesn't tell them to, they usually just shake it off and don't think it's a big deal. And they think that the reason for a lot of these diseases are just acts of God or just other things. They would never blame it on Big Brother deliberately doing it to them. Of course they would, because they don't have brains in their head.